The story begins with a high school girl named Sawako. She is a shy and quiet girl who often avoids eye contact, letting her long, flowing hair hide her face. However, her classmates tend to keep their distance from her because of her name and appearance, which remind them of Sadako, the ghostly character from a famous horror movie. Rumors even spread that looking into Sawako's eyes for more than 3 seconds brings bad luck, and people apologize immediately if they accidentally meet her gaze, fearing a curse. Whenever something unfortunate happens, her classmates blame Sawako, convinced she is the source of their misfortune. On her first day of high school, Sawako meets a cheerful young man named Shota, who seems lost, asks her for directions to the school. Noticing that he is wearing the same uniform, Sawako shyly guides him. After thanking her, Shota rushes off to join his friends who are waiting nearby. For Sawako, this brief encounter feels special because it's the first time someone has spoken to her kindly. Shota even helps her pick cherry blossom petals from her hair, making her heart flutter. To Sawako's surprise, Shota is in her class. His warm and friendly nature quickly makes him popular among their classmates. However, their homeroom teacher warns Shota to stay away from Sawako because of the rumors about her curse. Despite this, Shota dismisses the warnings, refusing to believe in such superstitions. Instead, he consistently shows kindness to Sawako, greeting her, chatting with her, and helping her when she struggles. He never avoids her like the others do. One day, their class plans a bravery challenge activity, where students are meant to scare one another. Shota invites Sawako to join, but she declines, worried her classmates wouldn't want her there. Later, Sawako overhears 2 classmates, Chizuru and Ayane, discussing how perfect she would be as a ghost. Determined to participate, Sawako approaches them and asks if she can play the role of a ghost during the event. They agree and Sawako joins the activity. That evening, Sawako impresses everyone with her ghostly performance. Her resemblance to Sadako makes her truly convincing, and she scares her classmates effectively. Chizuru and Ayane are thrilled with her effort and thank her by giving her a bottle of water. This small act of appreciation boosts Sawako's confidence. Shota learns that Sawako participated in the challenge and is pleasantly surprised to see her becoming more involved. He then takes the opportunity to talk to her and get to know her better. The next day, during a playful punishment game for losing the challenge, Shota is assigned to date Sawako for a week. Shota is annoyed by the way his friends treat Sawako and protests on her behalf. However, his classmates misinterpret his reaction, teasing him and suggesting that he has a crush on her. Hearing their comments, Sawako feels guilty, thinking she is causing trouble for Shota. Embarrassed and overwhelmed by the misunderstanding, she quietly decides to leave the group, not wanting to create more problems for him. Seeing this, Shota quickly runs after Sawako, who apologizes for causing a misunderstanding among their classmates. She thanks him sincerely, saying how grateful she is for his kindness and for treating her as a friend. It's a new and heartwarming experience for her, since no one has ever wanted to be her friend before. After expressing her feelings, Sawako quietly walks away. Shota stands there, gazing at the bright sky, silently wishing she could realize that he has loved her since the day they met. Later that day, their homeroom teacher announces a seat swap in the classroom by having students draw numbers. The teacher asks Sawako to go first, causing some of the students to complain. Sawako calmly picks her number and moves to her assigned seat, which is the second row from the back. Without waiting his turn, Shota immediately sits next to her. Ayane follows, choosing the seat in front of Sawako, while Chizuru tries to sit behind her, but finds the spot already taken by Ryu, one of Shota's friends. Left with no other option, Chizuru takes the seat in front of Shota. Curious as ever, Chizuru bluntly asks why Sawako's expression always looks so serious and scary. Sawako shyly replies that she feels happy sitting there, but doesn't know how to show her feelings. Hearing her honest answer, Chizuru and Ayane smile at each other, finding her personality uniquely endearing. Shota later invites Sawako to eat ramen with him, Chizuru, and Ayane. It's a special moment for Sawako as it's her first time eating out with friends. At the ramen shop, Sawako is surprised to see Ryu, who explains that the shop belongs to his family. He soon joins their group, and the conversation turns lively. At that moment, Sawako can't help but laugh at their silly jokes, which surprises everyone. Seeing her more relaxed and cheerful demeanor makes her friends happy, though Sawako quickly becomes self-conscious and lowers her head in embarrassment. After their meal, Shota offers to walk Sawako home. Feeling shy, Sawako tries to keep her distance, trailing behind him. However, Shota stops every time she lags too far and gently insists that she stay closer to him. When they finally arrive at her house, Sawako's father is astonished by her cheerful mood. Her mother explains that Sawako had spent the day with her friends and even went out for ramen, which had clearly lifted her spirits. Hearing this, her father grows curious about her new friends, and her mother playfully wonders if one of them might be a boy she likes. The next day at school, Sawako practices kicking a ball with Chizuru and Ayane when a girl approaches to retrieve the ball that rolls toward Sawako. The girl looks frightened after accidentally making eye contact with Sawako, which prompts Chizuru and Ayane to brainstorm ways to help people feel less afraid of her. As they walk through the school corridor, they pass their homeroom teacher, Mr. Arai, who warns Chizuru to focus on her studies since her scores were low on the last exam. Shocked, Chizuru realizes the exams are approaching fast, leaving her with little time to prepare. Touched by Chizuru's distress, Sawako offers her a notebook filled with detailed study notes, hoping it will help. Chizuru is deeply moved by her kindness, especially when Shota points out how much effort Sawako must have put into writing the notes, given how neat and organized they are. However, Sawako kindly explained that she only wanted to help Chizuru with her exams. Moments later, while they were chatting, a girl named Kurumi watched Sawako from a distance, clearly displeased with how close she seemed to be to Shota. Although Kurumi pretended to be friendly towards Sawako in front of Shota, her intentions were far from genuine. One day, Sawako overheard some students gossiping about Chizuru and Ayane, saying they were getting into trouble because of their friendship with her. They claimed this proved the Sadako curse surrounding Sawako was real. Feeling guilty and heartbroken, Sawako decided to distance herself from her friends to protect them from further harm. Chizuru and Ayane were shocked and hurt by Sawako's sudden cold behavior, especially when Sawako told them they weren't friends anymore. Alone once again, Sawako struggled with her decision, missing her friends deeply but unable to see a way to fix things. Overwhelmed, she could only cry in frustration. Noticing something was wrong, Shota took it upon himself to help Sawako. He reassured her, telling her to ignore the rumors because neither he, Chizuru, nor Ayane cared about them. They genuinely wanted to be her friends. The next day, while in the school restroom, Sawako overheard students bad-mouthing Chizuru and Ayane. Gathering her courage, she stepped out to defend her friends. However, the students dismissed her efforts and began to intimidate her instead. The commotion drew a crowd of curious students outside the restroom. Shota, realizing something was happening, quickly called Chizuru and Ayane to come and help. When they arrived, they were touched to see Sawako standing up for them despite being bullied. After the incident, Sawako confessed to Chizuru and Ayane how much she missed them and wanted to be their friend again, but was afraid of causing them more trouble. Moved by her honesty, Ayane hugged Sawako tightly, assuring her that they would always be friends no matter what. Chizuru joined the hug, and the three cried tears of happiness, finally reunited as friends. During the school's sports festival, Kurumi approached Sawako, pretending to be friendly. She confided in Sawako about her feelings for Shota and asked for help. However, Sawako refused, admitting that Shota was a special person to her. Determined to create distance between Sawako and Shota, Kurumi schemed to set up a secret meeting between Sawako and Ryu. She hoped to coincidentally walk by with Shota, making it look like Ryu and Sawako were romantically involved. While talking to Ryu, Sawako learned that he had feelings for Chizuru. She promised to keep a secret. Meanwhile, Kurumi's plan backfired. Seeing Sawako alone with Ryu, Shota felt jealous and interrupted their conversation, taking Sawako away. He directly asked her about her feelings for Ryu and felt relieved when Sawako explained that she only thought of Ryu as a friend. Elsewhere, Chizuru and Ayane discovered Kurumi's true intentions. Furious, they confronted her, warning her to stop interfering in Shota and Sawako's relationship. However, Sawako pleaded with them not to expose Kurumi's actions, showing her forgiving nature. Later, Kurumi confessed her feelings to Shota, but he gently turned her down, telling her he already had someone he loved. One afternoon, while having lunch with Chizuru and Ayane, Sawako learned that Chizuru had a crush on someone since childhood. She also found out that Ayane already had a boyfriend, who was a fellow student. Later, after accompanying Chizuru shopping, Sawako worked up the courage to ask who Chizuru liked. Blushing, Chizuru admitted that she liked Toru, Ryu's older brother. Toru lived in another city, but visited his family every New Year. Chizuru dreamed of making herself look as beautiful as possible so that Toru would notice her as a woman rather than seeing her as a little sister. Sawako was surprised but kept quiet, not wanting to reveal Ryu's feelings for Chizuru. When winter arrived, Sawako's father asked her to take the bus instead of walking, concerned for her safety in the cold weather. When Sawako applied for a student bus pass, her homeroom teacher, Mr. Arai, accidentally misplaced her student handbook. The handbook was special to Sawako because it contained keepsakes, including a cherry blossom petal she picked up the day she first met Shota. Feeling upset and disappointed, Sawako couldn't hide her sadness when Mr. Arai casually asked her to fill out a form for a replacement. After that, Sawako and Shota spent less time together, as Shota used to walk her home. One day, when Sawako was about to meet Shota, Chizuru rushed in, explaining that Ayane needed their help because of a problem with her boyfriend. Shota encouraged Sawako to go with her friends, thinking it was something personal for the girls while he planned to spend time with his own friends. Ayane later confided to Sawako and Chizuru that she had a major argument with her jealous boyfriend. The three of them decided to cheer Ayane up and ran into Toru, who had returned home before the new year. Chizuru lit up with joy upon seeing him, but her excitement faded instantly when Toru announced that he was getting married and introduced his fiancée. Chizuru was heartbroken, feeling her dreams crumble before her eyes. Meanwhile, Shota, disheartened by the growing distance between him and Sawako, decided to confess his feelings. He found Sawako waiting at the bus stop and told her he loved her, asking her to be his girlfriend. He even invited her to spend Christmas Eve together. Shocked and overwhelmed, Sawako didn't know how to respond. Without saying a word, she ran onto the bus, leaving Shota behind, sad and disappointed. Apparently, Sawako couldn't bring herself to accept his feelings, burdened by guilt over losing the cherry blossom petal that symbolized their first meeting. On Christmas Eve, Sawako failed to show up at the party where she had promised to meet Shota. This left him in a sour mood, feeling rejected and disappointed. Meanwhile, Chizuru and Ayane encouraged Sawako to apologize to Shota during the New Year's Eve festival, where he volunteered every year. However, Sawako was conflicted because her father's orchestra had a concert the same night. Unsure of what to do, Sawako received surprising support from Kurumi, who encouraged her to follow her heart. Encouraged by Kurumi's words, Sawako decided to meet Shota and apologize to her father for missing his concert. Her father understood and urged her to go after her love. On the other hand, Shota discovered Sawako's lost student handbook. Inside, he found the cherished cherry blossom petal, which Mr. Arai had returned. Realizing how much that petal meant to her and understanding her feelings, Shota felt a renewed sense of hope. Just after New Year's Day, Sawako and Shota finally met, clearing up their misunderstandings. This time, they openly shared their feelings, bringing their love story to a heartfelt and happy beginning. So the moral of the story is, even if people think you're spooky, just be yourself. Sometimes that's all it takes to turn curses into friendships and awkward moments into love stories. Also, cherry blossom petals are apparently the VIPs of romance, so don't lose them.